Did you know that the food choices we make not only impact our own personal health, but also the health of our environment? For many of us, we may not think much about how far our food traveled to get to our plate, how and where it was grown, whether it was processed or not, and even what ingredients are in our food. These factors and others have real impacts to the health of our environment. For example, about 1/3 of greenhouse gas emissions worldwide come from agriculture. Greenhouse gases, such as carbon dioxide, are gases that trap heat and warm our planet. However, trapping too much heat is not a good thing. Greenhouse gases contribute to global climate changes that are having harmful consequences to our planet. Carbon dioxide, also known as CO2, is one type of gas that is released when producing, processing, and transporting foods that we eat. But what are the specific food behaviors impacting greenhouse gas emissions? Eating whole foods, locally grown foods, and organically produced foods are behaviors that help lower CO2 emissions when compared to eating processed foods, meat-based meals, fast food, and creating food waste. The types of foods we eat also have a significant impact in the amount of greenhouse gases emitted. For example, the foods responsible for emitting the most greenhouse gases are meat proteins, while the least are fruits. We can gain more insight into our own food behaviors and choices by participating in a one-day food eco-audit. Doing a food eco-audit, even for just one day, can bring more awareness to our food choices. To do this, collect data on the foods you eat for one day and record it in your food journal. Note the food categories it belongs to as well as the food behaviors it is associated with. You don't need to change your habits in any way for this. In fact, you will have more accurate data the more honest you are about your food choices. Food eco-audits can help us get a better idea of what our possible foodprint is. A foodprint is the environmental impact of the food we eat. This includes the amount of land, water, greenhouse gases, and chemicals related to the production, processing, storage, and transport of food. During your data collecting, you will get an opportunity to convert or change fractions into percents. A percent is a number expressed as a part per hundred. For example, 50 hundredths equals 50%, and 32 hundredths equals 32%. There are multiple ways to convert fractions to percents. Here are two of those ways. The first way is taking a fraction and finding its equivalent fraction with a denominator of 100, which can then easily give us the percent. This is because percent literally means per hundred. So any fraction with a denominator of 100 would represent per 100, or percent. For example, 10 hundredths equals 10 per hundred, which equals 10%. Let's take the fraction 6/20. This fraction is equivalent to a fraction with a denominator of 100 since 100 is a multiple of 20. We can multiply 20 by 5 to give us a denominator of 100. We then multiply the numerator by the same number, and that gives us 30. Now we have 30 hundredths, which is 30 per hundred, or 30%. This means 6/20 is equal to 30%. But what if an equivalent fraction with a denominator of 100 cannot be attained? A second way to convert fractions into percents is by using division. With doing so, we get an equivalent decimal that can easily be converted into a fraction over 100, leading us to a percent. For example, 5/15 does not have an equivalent fraction with a denominator of 100 because 100 is not a multiple of 15. So instead, we can use division to find an equivalent decimal. We can take the numerator 5 and divide it by 15. Since 5 is less than 15, we can add a decimal point and extra place values with digits of 0. These extra place values would be the tenths and hundredths. Now, 15 times nothing will give us 5, but 15 times 3 will give us 45, which is very close to 50. We place the 3 in the 10th place value and subtract 45 from 50, giving us 5. We bring down the 0 from the 100th place and repeat the same process. 15 goes into 50 3 times, which is 45, and there is 5 left over again. We can continue on to get a precise decimal, but to find the approximate percent, we just need digits up to the 100th place value. So we can stop here. 0.33 is equal to 33 hundredths, which is equal to 33 per 100, or 33%. Therefore, 5/15 is approximately 33%. Percents and fractions are types of ratios that help us compare parts of a whole. The ratios gathered from data collected will help you understand your food print more clearly by seeing patterns in your food choices, and how those choices impact the greenhouse gas emissions and the health of our environment. After participating in your very own food print, reflect on your food choices. How are they helping support the health of our environment? Consider a small action you can take to help reduce the amount of greenhouse gases emitted.